Hey guys, sorry for the shit angle again, but at least I can actually record deck profiles now. It's very good. And this time I'm actually prepared. We are going to be doing Fluffals, which are personally one of my favourite decks to use, because it has power, it relies only on one summoning method, which means D-Barrier can screw you over, but it can't screw you over intensely. And then let's add to the fact that, you know, it's actually got some very good effects. Everything's going to go well for you. Hey dude, if you're watching this after it's been live, someone just commented. But anyway, this is the deck profile and I hope you guys enjoy. So straight up, we're going to only use one Edge Imp Saw. Because with Edge Imp Saw, you know, you can only create really one Fluffal, not Fluffal, Frightfur, which is Frightfur Leo. That's the only one that's really comes out of him and is not the greatest, so you only really want to be using one of him. Then I would use 3 Edge Imp Chains. Reason being is not only can he bring out Sheep, which is a very good Frightfur, you can search a deck for a Frightfur card when he's sent to the graveyard, which is perfect because it's searching for like a Frightfur Fusion or a Frightfur Factory. We'll get to those later. Then we are going to be using 3 copies of Edge Imp Sabers. Yeah, sure, later. Reason I run 3 of him is because he can bring out Tiger, which is an amazing fusion. And he can bring himself back from the graveyard by putting a card from your deck, your hand back to the top of your deck. So he's perfect for fusion material. So I use him quite a bit. Then we're going into the Fluffals, which I'm running 3 penguins. Because with the penguins, you're able to, when you use it to fuse, you can search your the top 2 cards of your deck, like look at them, and then discard 1 card and add the other one to your hand. But it doesn't have to be out of the 2 that you drew. It could be any card from your hand, which means if you have like a Toy Vendor or an Edge Imp Chain in your hand, you can use their discard effects. Then we're running 3 owls, mostly for the polymerization searching ability, partially because of the self-fusion ability, because if you've got no more polymerizations in your deck, you can use his effect to pay 500 life points and use him as a material to fusion summon and then fuse with whatever else you need to, so that's good. Then we're also going to be running 2 Fluffal Bears. There's a reason. Okay, I just call everyone dude even if they're a guy or a girl. That's how I see it, because it's gender neutral to me. But anyway, Fluffal Bear, effect, if you discard it, you can add a Toy Vendor to hand. Also, its name specifically listed on a fusion monster, which means you can search him, and that's a Fluffal search. And then the sheer fact of, you know, the fusion that you bring out isn't the worst. So I only really run 2 because I only run 2 Toy Vendors. Talking of which, that's why I run 2 Wings, because I only use it for its effect of when it's in the graveyard, you can banish this and another Fluffal to draw if there's a Toy Vendor on your field, and then if you draw again, you can destroy your Toy Vendor, and then Toy Vendor will allow you to search your deck. So, not bad. Then, I'm only really running 1 Fluffal Sheep. Reason being is it's good for sending a monster back to your hand, but you have to have an Edge Imp in your hand, and even though it's fusion material, I guess, for another Frightfur, you don't really want to be relying on it. It's only there for a quick, oh, I've got a dog on the field, let's bring it back. Speaking of which, I am running 3 dogs. Reason being, you can search your deck for a Fluffal monster or an Edge Imp. Which it has to be Sabers though, which kind of sucks because I would love to use this effect to bring in Chain, but what can you do, eh? Anyway, so yeah, that's how many of those I run. Then we're going into monsters that aren't Fluffals. We're nearly done with the monsters. We've got 2 King of the Swamps. You discard them, you can add a polymerization to your hand, plus they can be used as any specific material. So if I have one of these in my hand, I can bring in any of my Frightfurs except for Kraken. So, not too bad. I mostly use it for the polymerization gaining effect, but, you know, it's whatever. And then What? Red equals green on Thursday. You must have a good memory. If you can read, go right back at talking. Okay. Then my final monster is a very, needed monster. Blackwing. Go through the black fake shadow. I don't know. I just call it go through. Reason being is if you check one of my videos on my channel, there's a strategy with him. He's only been limited down to 1, unfortunately, because I was running 2 beforehand. But basically, you can use him, get 2 tokens on the field, then tribute both tokens for a normal monster. That's because they're normal monsters into your link spiders, and then you can bring in decode because there's 3 effect monsters. You can still do that, but you only can run 1 of him, so I only run the 1 because of that. Now we're on the spell and traps. I run 3 polymerizations. Enough said. Like, you know what it does. You know why it's needed in this deck. You should guess why it's at 3. Then 2 fusion conscriptions, because as I said earlier, you can now search bear because it's specifically listed on my fusion, so it's perfect. The only drawback is you can't use his effect that 1 turn, so you have to wait. But yeah, it's very good. You only really want to be using 2. It's also material you can use for your Frightfur Factory, so very good card. Only really want to run 2. Then 2 fusion recoveries, because you're only running 3 polymerizations, because that's all you can run. You want to use a fusion recovery to be able to bring it back and hopefully be able to fuse again. So use 2 of them. It's good. Hopefully you'll do good with that. 1 fusion sage, because light fusion recovery and fusion conscription, it can be used for the effect of your Frightfur Factory. Plus, if you don't have you have a polymerization in your deck and you want it, this will allow you to add it to your hand. MST, you can use it to pop any spell trap. I only run 1 for the sheer fact of all the other cards I'm running, but it's a very good card. You want to run at least 1 spell pop that isn't a monster, so this is very good to do that. Then we're running 2 Frightfur Factories, not 3 because you don't really need more than 2, because people hardly go for your Frightfur Factory, and even if they do, that allows you to add a Frightfur Fusion back to your hand, so it's not the greatest idea for them, and so they usually don't do it, at least in my personal experience, which means you can keep using this effect. It's brilliant. I might run another if need be, but it is perfect the way it is so far. Then 2 toy vendors, mostly because you don't really need more than 2, because you've only really got the discard effect and then the drawing effect, and since I'm only running 2 wings because that's all got the room for, you don't need any more than what you've already got. So yeah, I only run 2 of that, so that's the main reason I run 2. Then for the final of the spells we have Frightfur Fusion. I run 3 of these because I've got 3 edge chains, and if I so happen to draw 1 of these or draw 1 of my Frightfur Factories, or 1 of each or 2 of each, it means I can still search. So it's very good. Also, it has a banishing effect to be able to fuse, and then obviously with my the effect of my Frightfur Factory, if it gets destroyed, I can bring this back if it's been banished. So it's very good for fusion. It's probably one of the best fusion cards in this deck. Not the best, but probably one of the best. We're on to the traps. There's only 4 of them, and then we're going to go on the extra deck. So we've got Fusion Reserve, only run 1. Basically means you can add a polymerization from your graveyard to your hand and 1 fusion material from your deck to your hand. That means you can either search for an edge imp, which is good because I usually search for my chain, but you can also search for your bear, which is very good because you want to have bear in hand so you can bring in your toy vendor. So not bad. You only really want to run 1 though. But because it's a trap and not a spell, you can't use Frightfur Factory's effect with it. I found that out the hard way. Then I run 1 Scrap Iron Scarecrow because it's a very good trap. You're able to negate 1 attack per turn basically, and because it keeps being put face down, it means if your opponent's very stupid, they won't remember which one it is, and so you can just keep negating. It's perfect. So I only really run the 1 of that. Then I run 1 Dark Bribe, just so you can negate an effect in case they want to like Regeki your monsters or whatnot before you're able to get a decent combo out. It's very good to negate it. Then I run 1 Mirror Force to negate an attack and destroy all the monsters. So, you know, who wouldn't run a Mirror Force? You know, it's sort of what you want to be running in any deck that you can. So that's the main deck. I'm quite proud of what I've done, but yeah. First off, we're going to go into Link monsters, just for the sheer fact of, I talked about them earlier. You want to run 2 Link Spiders, because obviously you want to use the Gofu tactic. So 2 Link Spiders and a Decode. Reason you want to run Decode as your main Link monster is the sheer fact of its popping effect. So basically, any monster that's linked to it gives it attack, and then if you try to destroy any of my monsters or target any of my monsters while he's out, I can pop any of the monsters that are attached to it to negate it. Which means if it's pointing at your monster and you're trying to destroy mine, I can negate any of my destruction and pop your monster. It's very good to do that. And then we're running into the extra deck. I'm gonna do it in this order, I think, just for the sheer fact of, you know, I want to do the worst first. So we want to show off our Frightfur Bear. The only reason I run him is so I can search for my Frightfur Bear and maybe an Edge Imp Sabers. But if I do want to bring him out, I can, and its effect is okay, I guess. But all it really does is it uses your opponent's monster as a equip card and then gives it more attack. And in the new Link meta, that's not the greatest. You kind of want to keep him back in your extra deck, because you don't really want to waste your extra monster zone on him. We are now going to go into my Frightfur Leo. Only run 1 again because his effect's not the greatest. He's mostly there so I can search for my Edge Imp Saw. I only really want to use 1 Edge Imp Saw because Edge Imp Saw isn't the greatest anyway. It's just an all-round okay card. You kind of can use him if you want to just pop your opponent's monster and deal damage to him, I guess. So, you know, not too bad. Then, Frightfur Sheep. I'm only running 1. This one actually uses Edge Imp Chain as a material, so it's good for search and chain. And then there's the sheer fact of it's very good. If it's only got 2000 base attack, so it's not the greatest. But if you destroy it by card effect or battle, it goes to the graveyard and comes back with 800 more attack points. So it's basically saying it can't be destroyed once per turn and it gains 800 attack. Not bad. But it does lose the power up obviously when it goes to the graveyard, so it'll constantly just have 2800, you know. So it's not the greatest in that sense, but you know, whatever. I'm also going to be running 2 Frightfur Krakens. Personally, one of my favourite Frightfurs that I'm running. For the sheer fact of you can use any Fluffal or any Edge Imp to create it. You only need 1 of each as well, so not bad. It's got 3000 defense and 2200 attack. It can attack twice per battle phase, and it can change itself to defense mode after the battle phase, and it has a popping effect, which means it can't attack directly. But it still pops, so it's very good effect. Very, very good effect. I only run 2 though, because that's all I've got, plus it's all I've got for room, for like search materials and that. Then, definitely my favourite Frightfur though, is my Frightfur Tigers. You can only have 1 on the field though, which kind of sucks, but its popping effect is perfect. It basically, you can use 1 Edge Imp Sabers and then as many Fluffals as you want to create this monster, right? And depending on how many materials you use, including the Edge Imp Sabers, you can pop as many monsters as you, as many cards as you want that equals the amount of monsters used as the material. So if I used, I don't know, my Edge Imp Sabers, a Fluffal Sheep and a Fluffal Bear to summon him, which I wouldn't ever do because obviously Bear's perfect for Toy Vendor or whatnot, I'm able to bring out this monster and I'll be able to use its effect to pop 3 cards on the field, whether that be his cards or my own. Because, you know, if you have a Toy Vendor and you've really, you know, and you don't have a Fluffal wings, you can just pop it yourself with your effect to Tiger. It's very good. Very, very good. Run 3 of those. Then we're going on to the king of the deck though. So Tiger is a little better than this card in my personal opinion, but this is definitely the king of the deck. Frightfur Sabertooth. I run 3. Basically, you can use any Frightfur monster to fusion summon him, but you have to use a Frightfur. plus as many Edge Imp and Fluffal monsters as you want. I personally would only recommend using 2 though, because his effect is, if you use 3 materials, including the Fright Fur, it becomes invincible to battle and effect. So basically you can't destroy it by effects, and you can't destroy it by battle. And what I didn't tell you about Tiger is he gives I think it's like a 200 attack point boost for every single Fright Fur and Fluffal on the field. And Sabertooth just gives you an outright 400 attack point boost just immediately. So if you have one of these out, one of your Tigers out, and then a load of Fluffals or Fright Furs on the field, you're able to get yourself a fuck ton of damage. Because your monsters will have insanely high attack. And then here we are on the final card. 1 Starving Venom Fusion Dragon. I only run this for one reason, and it's a very obscure reason, but it has happened. If I am close to winning, and they've made it so my Sabertooth can't attack, or whatever's in my link zone can't attack, and it isn't my decode, which means I can't bring out any more extra deck monsters, I can bring out Starving Venom because my all my fusions are darks, and I've got Edge Imps in my deck which are darks as well. So I can just bring him out, and that's the end of the door at that point, because I can attack again, and its effect just makes it good for a final finishing move if need be. So that's the entire deck. That is the Fluffals I've been working on for, I would want to say, at least 9 months. Yeah, about 9 months I've been working on this deck. It started off with my mate giving me a load of cards because he didn't think Fluffals were worth creating, which, fair play, I can understand why. But because of that, I started building up this empire. And I only did the deck profile today because my final few cards I ordered off Amazon turned up today. Which is, you know, my Sabertooths. What a waste of life. Yes, because it's a waste of life to go on someone's YouTube video and, well, technically live stream and say, oh, you wasted your life. I'm totally not sitting here watching a video about this guy doing Yu-Gi-Oh, which I must have searched for to find. And then I said that he's wasting his life. Yes. I'm the one he's the one that's wasted his life, not me. I promise. Mum, please stop beating me. I did nothing wrong. All I did was want to have sex with my cousin. Oh, fucking hell. But yeah, that is the Fluffal deck I've been working on for a while. I hope you guys enjoyed. And that guy who just joined, you're a fucking idiot. This is one person you don't want to start with. Thanks, dudes. See you later.